YTBC, what's the deal? First, let me give a shout out to Mr. Kelly. Man, he keeps me so updated on everything New Zealand, everything in that whole little region out there. He keeps me so updated with these articles that he sends me, man. So shout out to him. Now, the article, it's Parker versus Haye, okay? Let me go ahead and read from this article. I will leave the article in the description box, and you go ahead and, click on it, read it, and come to your own surmise. It says Joseph Parker's team say they will welcome a fight against David Haye, which would put the New Zealanders' IBF mandatory world title challenge at risk, but have the potential to earn him a massive payday and raise his profile in Great Britain to a new level. Ducal Events promoter Dean Lonergan said a fight would between the fast-rising 24-year-old Kiwi and 35-year-old Haye, a two-weight world champion on the rebound after a long layoff, would potentially be more lucrative than a world title fight for Parker. All right, let me go ahead and read some quotes. If you put Joseph Parker and David Haye in the ring, the interest in England will be massive, Lonergan said. The payday for both guys will be very, very large. Potentially for Joseph, it will be bigger than a title fight. When we go to a world title fight with Anthony Joshua, Joshua is definitely on the A side, and we will be the challenger. Now, let me just stop it there. See how just easy that just flowed? And I know some of you are going to say, well, it's obvious AJ's the A side. He sold over 400,000 pay-per-views with Dillian White over there in the UK. Cool, but, Parker can easily try to play the diva role and try to fight to be the A side. See, you see how smooth that went? He knows he's the B side, all right? If Joseph fought Haye, you like to think there would be an equal split and that we could do a co-promotion up there because we're bringing the mandatory. All right. Lonergan has been in discussion with Joshua's promoter Barry and Eddie Hearn about having Parker fight on a Joshua undercard in London and possibly in November. That will raise the profile of Parker in Great Britain ahead of a possible title challenge against Joshua in the new year. Okay. However, a Parker versus Haye fight could be a standalone pay-per-view event and much more lucrative. If we went to England and beat David Haye, Joseph Parker would become an instant superstar up there. And I'm sure the Hearns would be happy for that to happen because it's just going to make the payday bigger for everybody when Parker takes on Joshua, Lonergan said. For Joseph Parker right now, it's probably the highest paying fight in the world for him, so why wouldn't he look at it? For David Haye, this is the biggest money fight for him in the short term. I know from reading the papers that Tyson Fury ain't keen on fighting David Haye, and Anthony Joshua seems to have zero interest because he's not fighting good opponents. All right, that's what he said. And then he says, if he beats Joseph Parker, then he is guaranteed a fight against Anthony Joshua. All right, I'll leave all this in the description box. Now, we do know that Parker is set to fight Hayumano in July 21st to be exact. He just came off a victory against Carlos Takam, all right? So I'll leave all this in the description. Now, let me go ahead and chop it up with you guys, man. I think that's a great idea, because we know that David Haye has been trying his hardest to micromanage Anthony Joshua through the media. He's always telling him who he should fight, who he shouldn't fight. So he wants a crack at Anthony Joshua. But the thing is, the more he keeps talking about fighting Anthony Joshua, the more time is passing. He wanted to fight AJ right after he won the title from Charles Martin. AJ's getting ready to fight Brazil. And then after that, he may take on somebody else. Maybe Haye was looking for that date, but he has a date with Destiny against Joseph Parker as long as he gets past Hayumano. Okay. This, to me, will get David Haye the title shot earlier, unless Anthony Joshua is planning on fighting David Haye after the Brazil fight. So that means he'll have to beat Brazil and then beat Haye a few months later and then go into next year, because I think that mandatory is due in January and then go into that fight. But then they're talking about Joshua may fight Parker. I heard something like November, but, there's just a lot of talks going on. But I think Haye versus Parker will be a very good fight, because then Haye will guarantee himself a title shot if he beats Parker. And let me give Parker and his team credit, man. Let me just break it down with this phrase. They ain't scared. They ain't scared of nobody, man. That's one thing you got to applaud. I'm not saying Parker is the #1 heavyweight in the world. I know some Kiwi fans probably believe that, and they're supposed to. That's their guy. But I mean, the guy fought Carlos Takam. In my opinion, I had him in my top 10 heavyweights. He beats him, and then literally, you guys, 2 days after that, he's in another press conference with a new guy ready to fight Haye. Usually, guys are taking long breaks or rest. This young guy's ready to bang. He's ready to get in there and fight. His promoters, they're pushing him, man. They're not going to wait, 4 or 5 years from now. They're trying to push him now while he's in the physical prime of his life, as far as his strength, quickness, reflexes, his timing and his ring awareness and generalship of the ring. Yes, that will get better over time as he gets more experience, but physically he's where he's going to be at his best, and they're pushing him right now. I think Haye should really consider this fight. I do think a fight with Haye and Parker would be very lucrative. Would it be as lucrative as, AJ versus Haye or Haye versus Tyson Fury? Probably not. But those fights right now, like Lonergan said, in the short term, I don't really think they're possible right now. And I know Haye doesn't want to try to have us fans sit around and watch another Arnold Jarigjai or Mark Demori fight when these guys are literally looking for a soft spot on the canvas. So I think the fight makes sense. I think it should happen. They're willing to risk their mandatory, man. And even this Haye fight isn't just necessarily a gimme fight. I mean, Haye, at the end of the day, he does have power. If anything else, he does have some power. I know he's supposedly working on some things in the gym to try to, better his chances of winning against the young fella. I know a lot of fans, I know the bookmakers are going to have Parker a favorite. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win the fight, but that's just what it is. That's the reality of it. But the fact that this young man is willing to risk, he's willing to risk it all, man, because and this is what I think Parker and his team is thinking. And I haven't talked to anybody. This is just me guessing, all right? I think they're looking at it like this. If we can't beat Haye, we can't be champion. That's why they're fighting right now. Then they're looking at Haye like, yeah, if we can't beat Haye, we're not good enough to be champion. That's why they're risking it, because they're looking at it like, if we can't beat these guys, then we probably won't be champion. Now, who I think will win between Haye and Parker, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. See, I'm not going to sit here act like I know it all, because I don't know. I really don't know who's going to win this fight. Just like the Takam fight, I really didn't know, but I went with Takam because of the experience. Haye, to me, in my opinion, and you guys may disagree, his last real fight where he was actually in a fight with somebody that came to win and was actually trying to hit him back and hurt him, and was the Chisora fight, and that was 4 years ago. He's been back. Besides going through a training camp, the 2 fights were not really much of fights. So who knows how David Haye will be going into rounds 9, round 10, round 11. Who knows how he'll hold up? Now, we could say, well, Parker was gassing out and he looked tired. Okay, but at least we saw him in round 11 and 12. I know Haye's a former world champion, so you would just think, hey, man, David Haye's a former world champion. He'll handle himself in the late rounds. And you may be right, but I'm just saying, since the comeback and at this weight that he's fighting at now, which he looks in good shape. I know I've heard some fighters say they think he looks flabby. Dillian White said he looked kind of sluggish to him. But who knows how Haye would look going into the later rounds. I think Parker can learn from the Takam fight and make adjustments in the later round. I know Haye has the experience to where, with Haye with the experience and being a championship caliber fighter, maybe I'm underestimating him even at this stage of his career in the layoff. Maybe he will handle himself, like a former champion in the later rounds, but I don't know. And really, none of us really know until he gets there and we see it, on the television screen and we can see him in those late rounds. But as far as this being a potential matchup, I love it. I love it, man. And, Parker and his team, they want these big fights. They want to make this Parker into a superstar, man. So they're ready to invade the UK. You have to take care of business with this fight, but they're ready to invade the UK. and they're ready to put, their title shot on the line, man. They're not just sitting back and holding on to this IBF mandatory and just, kicking their feet up and taking a break. The dude was at a press conference 2 days after the Takam fight. And Seoul isn't just an easy win. And then they're talking about fighting Dave Haye. And this is before the AJ fight. This is before they fight. And let me stop discrediting Dominic Brazil, because I know a lot of people think he has no chance. Oh, okay, he's getting in the ring and he's 6'7", 250 pounds, and he's coming to win. So I will give him a slight chance. But what I'm saying is, whether it's AJ or Brazil, whoever it is, whoever has an IBF strap, Parker's not sitting around just waiting. And I love that about the young man. I applaud him for that. And he's not just calling out or trying to, get fights or with just Joe Blow. I mean, he's really putting names out there, man, for a young guy. So what do y'all think about this fight? Who do you think will win right now? If Parker were to fight Haye, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do know is Haye has experience. He can possibly walk Parker into some traps, make him feel, comfortable, and then jump on him and catch him with something, maybe. But I don't know, man, because Parker has fast hands too. These guys maybe have the quickest hands in the division, Parker and Haye. That's debatable, so I really don't know at this stage, man. At this stage, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. YTBC. I'm out.